Same. I'm with
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was a shit.
No, buddy.
The drawer sometimes. They're just having the time of my life.
Instagram pictures are together.
Oh my gosh.
Does it have a Thundercat?
Technology.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Oh no.
Buddy.
We never doubted on one.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Launchpad Reseller Podcast Season 2. I almost said the flip side. We do two of these. So welcome, everybody, to this Launchpad Reseller Podcast Season 2, Episode 2. We have a great show lined up for you guys today. And before we get to introducing our guests, I want to talk about a few things that are new for us and also flip side. We are now broadcasting on Amazon and Apple. Also Spotify, and shout out to everybody on all three. So you could take your favorite along with you and never miss a moment. So just know that we're broadcasting through. So when we do our descriptors or we're talking about something that they can't say, we'll just go ahead and make sure that you guys understand what we're talking about, or maybe give you some context into what that looks like. So I just wanted to just take a moment to do that. And of course, I always co-host with my BFF, Tennessee Treasures, Ellie. And she's been kind enough to join us again for Season 2. And we're going to get this thing started. We're going to introduce a legend. That's how I see you, Ben. A legend. You've been reselling for forever. And you're also a podcaster and all the things.
Yeah.
Newlywed. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. So Rocky Top Picker.
Yeah.
Ben, welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you so much, y'all. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's a pleasure. We wanted to talk about, how you came to resell and all that stuff, but usually we do an icebreaker. And I want to talk about the icebreaker for this one. I want to talk about what is your most favorite thing outside of reselling. So if you had to pick one thing that you're really interested in other than reselling.
Spending time at my camper at the lake. Does that work?
Yeah, that's a gem right there, man. I'm all about the lake life. Yeah, I don't
Lake
nearly
life.
do it enough, but I would love to be able to do that on the regular.
Mm-hmm.
So, damn. Good for you for being able to take time to get away from reselling. So I'm assuming that's what you do when you're not doing this thing.
Yes,
So,
it
that's-
is. Just about every weekend.
Dang.
Oh,
We're at the we're at the lake, so and it's because of Whatnot that allows me to do that. That I'm not tied to my computer, like I was.
Yeah.
I started really in eBay when internet was still dial-up. Okay.
Insert modem sound here.
Well, you remember that? Ding dong. Remember that?
Yeah.
You had to sit there and listen to that, and then you get connected. Well,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you want me to start into my backstory.
Yeah,
right now.
please. Yeah, that was the point of the icebreaker, get you started and warm you up.
So back in the dial-up days, I stumbled on the eBay website, and at that time it was only auctions, and you had to use money orders to purchase stuff.
Dang.
That's how long ago it was.
Everybody's like, what's a money order?
Well, what's a personal check? I mean, I don't even write checks for nothing anymore. I mean, everything, is digital and Apple Pay and Venmo and all those other apps. But yeah, so rocking and rolling on eBay. Back in the very beginning, I bought more than I sold because it was a totally new concept. All of a sudden, items that I was a collector. I've always been a collector since I was a kid. Star Wars figures, Hot Wheels cars, you name it. I've collected it. So I got on there to feed my collection habit. I should call it a habit. So I spent more back in those days than I sold. But after eBay started evolving and it became easier to start selling items, not only did the whole world come into your own house to buy anything you're looking for as a collector, but now you have an audience captive, basically, to sell anything you want anywhere around the globe. So yeah, those early days, I got hooked on that. And through the years, I've done so many things. I've really been blessed, totally been blessed by the Lord for sure, that I've started a lot of businesses on my own. My background was in physical therapy, and I went to college for that. So this was back in the early 90s when I went and applied to a medical center up the road from here. The pay wasn't what it is now. So I turned it down and continued working my job at the Walmart distribution center. They paid me more than what my physical therapy was going to pay me back then. So to speed all the way up, I got out of that, went into finance. I financed cars, City Financial Auto. It was Citigroup's auto division. So it's when I was doing that, I started really cranking eBay as a seller. And on the side of that, I DJ'd on the side as a side income, One of the greatest,
DJ Rocky Top. That's awesome.
Well, it's actually DJ B is what I went by. But,
Of course.
But my DJ company was Big Time Entertainment. But that aside, the greatest way I learned this when I was in my early 20s, that if you want to create a solid income and create wealth for oneself, you need to have multiple streams of income in place.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket. Now, for years, I went against my own advice that I just gave you. And I'll get to that in just a minute, but I DJ'd part-time, I eBay'd part-time, and then I did my finance car deals Monday through Friday. Well, in 2008, when the economy tanked, they decided to close my branch, and it was me and 5 other employees, and I'd been there 10 years, $28 an hour and had 401 and all that good stuff. They gave us a severance package. Anyway, I decided to go full-time in DJing, so I bought me a box trailer, sound equipment, and I made my living full-time as a mobile DJ till about 2012 when a wedding venue in a town up the road, Jonesboro, Tennessee, the oldest town in Tennessee, it has been a wedding venue since the 90s. The owner of the building contacted me and said, would you be interested in taking over the wedding venue? So then I did the weddings. And not only did I do the ceremony and marry you, but I also did the entertainment and did the reception, and I planned everything,
That's excellent.
Wow.
So when I wasn't doing weddings, mainly weddings are on weekends, and when I wasn't doing that, I had a mobile hot dog cart. So through the week at lunch, I'd sell hot dogs on a hot dog cart. You would not believe the money that I made off that thing.
Wow.
Then I expanded and had a custom food trailer made called the Shed Grub and Grill. And we did pulled pork barbecue, burgers, Phillies. It was crazy. I mean, I went all over East Tennessee pulling that trailer to different Harley events and all that kind of stuff. So I was able to, through the week, I had an income. And then on the weekends, I had an income. And then down here, I had eBay going, you see. And about 2018, I got burnt out dealing with brides and their moms. So I shut the wedding venue space down and I converted it into a full set down, full bar restaurant, live music 3 nights a week with bands. Rocked that till 2022 and about killed me, the stress of owning a business. Everybody thinks you got it made if you own your own business and, hey, you just write your own checks. No, let me tell you something. You work harder when you're self-employed than most people do punching clock. And I'm not down in people who punch clocks, but we put in way more time, than the average. You know what I mean?
Ben, I was going to say, you are no stranger to work, putting in the entrepreneur path and all of the things you're saying. It's like you're a slave to that business. You really have to put in your all.
You do. And when I had my restaurant, the Jonesboro Barrel House, I put in 60, 70 hours a week, 6 days a week, and open to close. I was there before anybody, and I was the last one to leave. And I'm 53 years old. I got to the point where I'm like, my body ain't gonna handle this. So got out of that business, been eBaying it until this past April. That is when.
What happened? Yeah, is that no? I'm invested now.
Well, this past April. Well, let me back up a minute.
Okay.
We had the reseller rally here this past September, and from what everybody's told me, it was a lot of fun. They enjoyed it, and everybody's been clamoring, wanting to know when we're going to do it again this year. Well, we're not going to have it this year, but we may have it planned for next year. But I got married in October, and things in my life. Huh?
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, October 11th. A couple weeks after that, we went on an 8-day cruise with our friends, and it was fun. But when I got back, life was different because, she had her own home in the neighborhood I grew up in because my mom and dad lived 2 houses up the street.
Oh.
And I had my house, which is less than a mile away from here, where my eBay shed is, where I'd done all my reselling out of. So when we got married, we decided, well, her house is bigger square footage wise, and it would work better rather than her selling this and moving into mine, which is smaller space. So we moved here. I moved here since we got back from that cruise, and it's been crazy because I think you guys approached me around that time about coming on, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I told you, yeah, man, life has gone nuts right now, and I'm sorry it's took so long to get me on. But
yeah, we understand. Trust me, it's hard to get like 3 or 4 people together in the same room. So
yeah,
it really
so
is.
I'll tell you all this to say this. When I met my now wife and we started dating and got engaged, my attention to eBay went to almost zero. The last thing that I wanted to spend time doing is in front of my phone or computer listing things. Mm-hmm. Got away from listing. I went months without listing a single thing and still had sales coming through. And not as much as it was, because I used to drop 10 to 15 new items every single day without fail, because I'm a believer in the draft, creating a draft system and then pre-programming ops. That's another good point to anybody that's new to reselling is if you don't have a lot of time, because if your schedule's busy with kids and they're little, or they're playing ball and you got all this summer activity going on, set aside a little time during the week where you can draft up 15 to 20 items, and then you can schedule to drop 3 to 5 every day for like a week if you want to spread it out. And it's still showing algorithm that you're actively listing new items and all this. And, on my show, on the Reseller Locker Room, we've talked about it for years, because our show is, I think it's our 3rd year now that we've been doing this. We've gone over all the conspiracy theories of how eBay works and what they do and what we think they do. And we've covered every angle. And, but anyway, that's another story. But, so when spring got here and I got settled into this house, I had been putting Whatnot and live selling down like crazy over on my podcast. You can ask Archie and Alex. They will tell you they were stunned when I told them I'm going to give Whatnot a shot, because all these years I've been saying, I'm not doing that. I have all my little eggies over here on eBay and I've got these other things going on. Boy, that was stupid of me to say. Of course, now Whatnot's not for everyone, because if you're camera shy like my wife is, you won't make it on Whatnot. I've watched a ton of Whatnot shows where nobody's on the camera. They're just showing the item. Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But Whatnot is a personality community. And if they can see you and put the voice to the face, they can read you better. They can learn about you. And after a while, they think that they know you. And what that causes is that builds trust.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I learned, I'm not shy of the camera, and I'm definitely not shy of the microphone. It doesn't bother me a bit.
All that
But
DJ experience.
Yeah. Well, that and doing the weddings and the food
Yeah, yeah.
truck and all
I
that
can
kind of
see
stuff.
it, yeah.
So, if we're going to get into Whatnot, I can really dig down on a couple things if you want me to.
Well, I mean, it's a lever for a lot of people, and right now, and my wife is. I sold over 8,000 with my wife over the past year and a half on Whatnot, 8,000 items, and she's like, I think she's like at 5,000 or 6,000 sold. She's actively on Whatnot. Fiona's Finds over there. She does plush and toys like little people,
Yeah,
Fisher
that's
Price little
great.
people and stuff, and yeah, so we're all, and I met Ellie through Whatnot, so the community is it's bar none. I mean, you can talk about how you met people through reselling, but Whatnot's, I've met so many great people through Whatnot. So let's talk about it. What's Whatnot been like for you? I know that you don't have a lot of time now because you have other commitments, and Whatnot is a lever. Let's talk about the lever.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, because there's two different mentalities, right? In reselling, there's the long, what's it, the long dime, short nickel, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
You want to
fast
sell
nickel or slow dime.
Yeah, there you go. So like, are you able to sustain, because you need a lot of volume, right? Are you able to sustain that type of approach to reselling? Because you're coming from eBay, right? It's a mentality shift. What shifted other than being married? Was it for you that made Whatnot the differential?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Well, there's several things. First of all, I do want to say, and this is going to contradict, guys, everything that I've ever said on my own podcast about Whatnot.
I love it. Let's do it.
But let me tell you what, after I've gotten into this with Whatnot, live selling is going to be the future of reselling, I believe now. Now, a year ago and 2 years ago on my show, when we talked about this very subject, I would tell you square in the eye, no, eBay is going to rule, baby. No.
That's awesome.
I mean, they've launched their eBay Live, but my gosh, how does one even get selected to even get on there?
I don't get what their approach is to that, because Whatnot is just gaining ground, and I'm not exactly sure what eBay's thinking about, like dragging their feet. You have to go through all these hoops and all these things to become a live seller, and then the people that they have on their live selling shows are just like, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what that's all about.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, the lever for me, getting back to what you were asking originally there, is after I done a couple, I started mid-April of this year on Whatnot with Hot Wheels die-cast cars.
Ooh,
and right after that first show, the next day I packed everything up and I shipped it out of here. And I told my wife, I said, listen, I've got Hot Wheels listed on my eBay store that have been there for about a year. We just moved about 72 cars in an hour and 20 minutes. And I no longer have to look at them because they're gone. They're not stuck in a bin behind me on the shelf. And I thought, you know what? There really is something to this live selling, and the fact that if you like to be a performer and be in front of people, be in front of the camera, which that's what I'm used to doing anyway. Everybody always told me over the years, guys, oh, Ben, man, you'd be great at Whatnot. And I just blew it off because I was under that eBay mentality. eBay is the giant. eBay is the only one that's going to have the massive audience to get the income that you need. That is absolutely false. Not putting eBay down now. Not putting eBay down. But I'm just saying, if you've got a ton of inventory, like you said earlier there, Bob,
Yeah.
and you're tired of looking at a death pile, go on Whatnot, sign yourself up, get this thing going, man, and don't get hung up on the mechanics of things. Oh, I'm in Whatnot groups on Facebook. I see all the time. I'm so nervous and scared about my first show. Why? There's nothing to be scared of. I mean, you're doing what QVC and the Home Shopping Network used to do, except now you're doing it for yourself in your own home, and it's not that big a deal. But yeah, that was a turning point to where I still list on eBay, and then in a minute I want to tell you my philosophy on the quick nickel versus slow dime.
Yeah.
But I list high dollar merchandise on eBay in my store.
Okay.
You know, things that I know by looking at sold comps on eBay that it's going to move quick and it's going to bring a good premium. I will list it there. Matter of fact, I've listed 5 or 6 items before I joined you all here in my store. But after 3 or 4 shows on Whatnot, I delisted about 1,000 items off of eBay.
Wow.
And I've already moved them. I've already sold through them.
Are you only selling Hot Wheels, or are you in different categories as well?
Good question. Hot Wheels, men's and women's vintage clothing, sports clothing, hats. Getting ready to do a show Wednesday night on Hard Rock Cafe pins.
Love that. So are we doing dollar starts, or what's your thoughts on that?
On the cafe pins, I'm doing $5 starts.
Okay.
Because, I bought this collection, which is another thing I wanted to tell you guys. How many have you heard of the new app called Vinted?
Yeah.
It's hot right now. Yeah.
VINTED, Vinted. For those of you watching and listening, you can download that out of the Apple Store. Put it on your phone. This has been created. You may have seen commercials on YouTube. I know they run their commercials on our podcast. That if you have used clothing in your closet, that's what they're marketing. They're marketing to people rather than taking those items and dumping them to thrifts. They're saying sell your own pre-loved clothes for cheap, which there's a lot of them on it. Well, that's become a major sourcing point for me. I source a ton of classic t-shirts and hats off of Vinted. Their shipping is so daggone easy. You have 3 choices to click the size box that it's going to be in. And then you go to the post office and show them a QR code, and they scan it and print the label for you, and you slap it on and you're done. And you get all the money, 0 seller fees.
Dang.
0 seller fees. I've already sold a few things on Vinted already.
I'm just waiting for that nifty.ai integration for Vinted, and I'll be there too. Yeah, nifty.ai sponsored this video. Go figure. If you're not cross-listing on nifty.ai, code Rocket City will save you 15%. Make sure you're doing your thing, man.
But it's, and I tell people on my YouTube channel, my Rocky Top Picker channel, I haven't uploaded any videos over there in forever because of everything else I got going on. But for new people getting into reselling, I've done a video on it. You can go over there and watch it. Start with what you already have. Stuff you have laying around your house, in your closets, in your basement, up in your attic, or if you've got a storage unit where you're storing stuff that you don't even know what you got in there. Pull it all out, go through it. YouTube provides a plethora of instructions and how-tos. If somebody's looking to get started, I tell everybody, go into YouTube, find some reputable hosts who have a massive following. Okay. Like Kevin, I'm called Cool Kevin, but Kevin, the Commonwealth Picker, he's well established. He's rooted in the community. He's a great one to go follow, and take those people's advice and follow what they do. And the same thing goes for Whatnot. You can go on YouTube and learn how to do the shipping and all that. And it's a little different on the shipping with Whatnot than eBay. eBay, you make a little bit of money on the shipping side of things, but on whatnot, you don't.
Right.
It's like that might be changing soon. The writing's on the wall. They just made a end user agreement change.
Yeah.
If people don't know and not tracking, there's been plenty of resellers talking about this, where eBay is going to be kind of like Mercari, where they just give you a label. They no longer allow you to make whatever adjustments to your own shipping. You just put the weight in, and it's all calculated, and they just take the money from the buyer and keep it. All they do is provide you with a label, and then off you run. And they're already doing it in other countries. So it's just whenever it's kind of like the whole promoted listing thing, last fall when they made that change. So the writing's on the wall. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, I think. And they almost have to do that because they can't keep up with sites like Vinted and Depop. And they just purchased Depop. But I mean, you get the drift. All those sites are changing the way they're doing shipping. Yeah, so they have to do something to keep up with those guys, and whatnot is the same way. So.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, when I researched Vinted and I spent some time on the app looking around at all the merchandise. They market it to put your used clothing on there, but now they have got everything. I mean, you can put all kinds of stuff on there. But my question is, and I tell people this on social media, enjoy Vinted as a seller as long as you can, because at some point they're probably going to add seller fees, because I've been racking my brain here trying to figure out how is the Vinted company making money here, because it's getting larger and larger. And at some point, just the maintenance of the site, that stuff costs money. So somewhere there's got to be something coming down the road to where it'll be no longer zero seller fees.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that, because when we first started selling in 2022, we started on Mercari. Mercari was fire then. I mean, 1 month we made like $20,000. It was in October we started 2022. And that's when we were just like, oh, this is what this can do. Surely this is for us. And I was just like, but Mercari did a few things that kind of messed around with the shipping fees. Yeah. If there wasn't fees for the buyer, there was free. There's no fees for the seller. They kind of did a few things, and everybody kind of lost their appetite for Mercari, and they're still trying to recover from that. I hope that Vinted takes a lesson from them and can kind of like balance that early on and do it now before they get to a position where Mercari was. And I'm not sure exactly. It felt like corporate greed at the time with Mercari. It didn't feel like it was necessary, but I can maybe see what you're saying. Like maybe they had to do that in order to, the growth mechanism for it. Yeah. So, but it hurt them also. So by doing so it'd be interesting to see how Vinted plays that out. And
well, you're talking about that Mercari deal where they kind of shot themselves in the foot. They pulled what I call an 80s Coca-Cola mistake when they changed the formula of Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah. That was no bueno. She was like, I wasn't even born yet, Bob.
I mean,
I was young.
You've heard the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy just seeing how much Whatnot has grown over the last year. Cause I'd go in and I've been sourcing off of Whatnot for a couple years.
That's how I started. Yeah.
I still do it. I just bought some nuggets of gold right before I came on here with you guys.
Wow.
Off of a gold show. Yeah. And it's crazy. And they're selling crab legs on there now, a real Alaskan crab legs. And they sell them in drop packs. Yes. Yes. It's crazy. But
all right, question. When you first started, what you said you're a collector. So what were you selling on eBay at that point when you had to wait for those money orders to come in?
What was I selling?
Yeah. What did you start off selling? A little bit of everything? What were you selling?
Pennants. Baseball pennants.
Those are a thing, huh?
Pennants.
Yeah. It's kind of timely because we just did a pre-record with Vintage Sport Flips. Keith. Yeah, so he's going to be on the podcast. It's going to drop on next Monday. So everybody, make sure you check that one out. Keith is awesome.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of timely that you said the pennants, because was there any particular like teams, or was it just all over the map?
Guys, you're talking about late 90s here.
Come on now, you can remember surely.
I'm 53, dude. There's stuff I don't even remember that happened a month ago. Are you kidding? But no, I mean, I did that, and I think, you know, from what I can recall, I remember selling some baseball cards, just little things like that. Nothing big, you know, like bread mixing machines or anything like that, you know.
So it's safe to assume that you're an everything reseller, right? Who's now
I was.
So now has found the love for whatnot. I would imagine like diecast is one of those categories that is how is it saturated? Is it not? Do you find it difficult to break into that market? For those that might be thinking about doing that, what's that been like for you?
That's a good question. Saturated. Well, I think, you know, us being resellers, every market we're in can be saturated in one way or another. Either you have, you know, 10,000 people selling Nike shoes, or, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's on eBay or anywhere. There's saturation. In respect of talking about whatnot, though, and this is why I said being on camera and doing these lives is why it's so important. It's your personality that you're selling people
There
on.
it is. That makes the difference. Yeah.
It does, because with me selling my die cast, that's what I started selling on whatnot back in the middle of April. And I remember just here recently, Memorial Day weekend, I was getting ready to go do a live pop-up die cast. But before I did that, I counted 162 die cast shows that were currently live.
Wow.
162 shows.
Wow, that's a lot.
But guess what I did? Guess what I did?
You did it.
I went live anyway.
Hell yeah, you did.
I ended up making $407 in 2 hours.
Oh, let me tell you, the diecast community on whatnot is unheard of.
Massive.
There is, yeah, it's first of all, half of the sellers are buying Hot Wheels also because they're collectors.
Yes. And I've got some back here on the wall you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could show y'all. I collect Volkswagen Beetles. Me and my husband collect them together. So
her husband Val has a hell of a collection.
Yeah.
I had a show last month, nothing but VW buses and Beetles in all scales, all different. I still got some larger scale VW buses that I haven't sold yet.
I'll have to show you some pictures, Ben. Man, we have some cool stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
But we just recently started collecting in the past year, and he's trying to get into selling as well.
Yeah.
He's a little shy. I don't know.
I don't understand that, because he's not shy in person. What do you think
so he's Mexican, and it's because his English isn't perfect that he's
got it.
Because he actually does have a really good personality for sales, actually.
Yeah,
but
he's very fun.
Valentine. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, I took 2 years of Spanish. I can roll with it. Como estás?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. He speaks good English, just not, it's not perfect. It's caught up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get back to the fast nickel over slow dime mentality.
Yeah, for sure. That's important.
Yeah, there is a mind shift out there that if you're used to a process such as eBay, of you going out and sourcing, coming back, taking pictures, listing stuff. And I will admit, listing on eBay has become so much easier with the AI feature writing your descriptions, although I do proofread it to be sure it is correct, because sometimes they mess it up. So if you're new to eBay and you're getting rolling, proofread your AI descriptions before you let that thing roll out.
That best advice in this podcast so far.
Yeah. And so, so you get used to knowing that would it be great if you sold everything on eBay 10 minutes after you listed it? Yeah, I've had that happen on several occasions.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it's going to take a while.
Mhm.
And when it does hit, I remember back in this has been 4 or 5 years ago. It was nothing for me to have 20 or 30 sales a day. Just bing, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. It's far from that now. It's far from that. And, but here's the deal. Resellers, and not all of them, but a lot of them get a mentality that they love to buy. Oh my gosh, the hunt is the most funnest part. Now, where you can go off the rails here is you can become what we call a resale hoarder.
Mhm.
And you just buy, and you hoard. And all of a sudden, you've got so much crap. Now you're mentally overwhelmed that, I ain't never going to get all this stuff listed. And when I do, it's going to take forever to get my money back and to make a profit. That is the mentality of a slow dime in my book. Let's flip the coin, no pun intended, to the fast nickel. You go out and source this afternoon. You come home, you log into Whatnot, you show the items on your show, boom, sale. Does all of it sell? No, it doesn't. But 9 times out of 10, if you form a relationship with your buyers and not refer to them as chat, hey, chat.
Oh,
hey,
I hate
chat.
it. I hate it.
I want to
I hate
kill
it
these
so much.
people.
I hate it so much.
I mean, come on. Let's be respectful. These are
Yeah.
people who are spending their time and money with you. Learn their names. And I'm not just talking about their usernames. Find out their real names. Commit to memory who buys a lot from you. So when they come into your next show, say, hey, Steve, man, great to see you. I hope you were happy with all your stuff I sent you. And let's have some fun tonight. Build a bond with your buyers, especially ones that consistently show up at your shows and spend money with you, because those are the ones that are funding you. You take care of those people, and that's where relationship comes into play. And if you get that set in place, the fast nickel, well, let me tell you something. Nickels add up fast. Okay. They add up fast. Like with the die-cast Hot Wheels, I probably got 30,000 cars in tubs out here in my garage, and I'll run 200 or 300 cars in a show. I don't know, within an hour and 30 minutes. And the volume of that, like sometimes I'll do 4 Hot Wheels for $5, which is cheaper than retail. And if anybody's been into my Whatnot shows, I say that all the time. Hey, this is cheaper than retail. You can't go to Walmart and get these prices. Get these brand new on card, and you just got to ramp it up, I tell people, if you're just now getting into the Hot Wheels hobby, this is a great way to start your collection. Bulk it up. You buy bundle deals of Hot Wheels diecast. I say, if you're a reseller, this is a great way to build up some diecast inventory for you to resell. And I just kind of make it easy for them. I don't sit there and say, that ain't high enough, chat. You ain't bidding it high enough. I mean, people don't want to be nagged and they don't want to be harassed.
Yeah.
They want to feel like they're the only buyer in your show. And if you treat everybody with respect and give them attention, so many shows I've watched where the host doesn't even talk. They just stick an item in front of it and hit the start button and doesn't tell anything about the item. You can't do that. No. You've got to develop a personality, a persona, so to speak. I've been blessed, Rocky Top picker. I've had that persona for a long, long time. And I educate people about my background, and I'm guilty of doing this, but in my shows, I tell them that if I don't sell enough of these cars tonight, my wife's going to kill me because I've got too many cars.
Yeah.
Getting those types.
Yeah. So, and all of a sudden I got people feeling sorry and they start buying, and then they give me tips and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are the greatest. And
it's not that far from the truth either.
Yeah. But, as I said, guys, at the top of the show, Whatnot is definitely a social app. I
So
mean, it's not just for
Yeah.
yeah, it's not just for just selling items. It's you spending time with people in your show and getting to know them and find out what their needs are. And when you're outsourcing, remember what those needs are. And then you can come back the next show and say, hey, Steve, you bought all these last time. Well, look at these. I found some more for you.
Yeah.
People appreciate that. Number one, people love hearing their own name spoken. Two, they love feeling special, like they matter. And when you make your audience of buyers feel that way, they're going to do business with you because people do business with people they like.
I only have one argument. Don't call my name if my husband's sitting next to me. Shh. Okay.
He's gonna find out you're buying again.
Yeah.
On the down low.
Oh, I've had that happen. I have some men in my diecast show. He goes, I got to quit. My wife is getting madder and madder the longer I'm on here, so, but it's all fun.
I actually took a break from Whatnot because I was getting burnt out on it. Honestly, I was. Well, we got to remember I did it for almost 2 years, year and a half, and we were cooking, man, doing really well on there, and it takes a toll. I mean, the shipping, my wife does all that, so I can't really say that it was the shipping that got me, but I mean, I did help her with a lot of that, and there was days where we were doing so well that the shipping was actually, and I was helping her, took literally an entire day to do.
Oh yeah.
So that's the thing about selling bigger items. I would imagine Hot Wheels is probably not as terrible, but even if you sell 200 items, I mean, it takes time, and that's one of the things. How do you manage that time in your reselling experience? Are you noticing that as you get more popularity, the shipping's taking longer?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, and Ellie asked the question, "What else do I sell on there? Is it just diecast?" That's why I got into.
Oh, that's right. You do sell more, yeah.
Yeah, clothes and hats. Simple. Clothes and hats. Hats go in a box because I don't want the hats to be crushed. But clothes, fold them up, pull them in a big poly bag, and you're done. So I source items that I know is quick to ship. Okay. That pretty much stay in the same weight categories. You know what I'm saying? It's just like with these die-cast cars, they're in the 4 to 7 ounce weight category. So it's not cumbersome like shipping a coffee maker or a golf club. Even though I did all that and I made killer money, but man, the time it takes for packaging and shipping, this stuff is more streamlined. I can throw 50, 60 cars in a large flat rate box, and I can unbundle the shipment if it's more than that and ship 2 large flat rate boxes. Right. And so, it's that side of shipping on Whatnot is easier for me, You
mentioned storage lockers. When you ready to pull that pin, is that going to be Whatnot?
Yes.
All the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless it's a high dollar, real high dollar item, It's just like 2 weeks ago, I listed an autographed baseball by Willie Mays. Wow. And I put that on eBay, and within 2 or 3 days, sold. Mm-hmm. I was not going to Whatnot auction that thing off.
Yeah, that's not something that's a one-off for sure, outlier.
This is something that I've noticed, Bob. I've noticed this. There's 2 different resellers on Whatnot. There is the high volume, which means they have access to high volume. And then there is the small volume resellers on Whatnot. The high volume can afford to do dollar starts on everything. I mean, this gold show that I bought gold nuggets from, she's starting the nuggets off at $1.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And you just bid it. But with Whatnot, if you want to make a lot of money, don't do dollar starts starting off. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I didn't. But as your audience grows and your buyer pool becomes bigger and more loyal and you get access to more merchandise, then you can fan it out, because like I said, did you do pallet sales when you were doing Whatnot, or did you just go source everything? And
Most of what we were doing is Goodwill outlet bins at the weight. So
Yeah,
we do
you
a
got
lot
a
of
bins?
sourcing. Well, we could do a lot of sourcing in Nashville. We're in northern Alabama, so we're like 5 minutes from the Tennessee border. So it's about an hour and a half for us. So what we do is we go to the bins, purchase at weight, and then obviously that kind of business model lends itself well to whatnot. Specifically, the category we're in plush only, so
Yeah.
we're kind of known for being a plush dealer. So people are kind of know us in the community.
Okay.
So that's kind of like how we came to be, I guess, on whatnot.
Yeah.
We were like one of the few first to that type of thing. And also, my wife was first to little people before they went crazy.
Yeah.
I've sold some of them.
Yeah, so in 2023, before the internet just took off, I think it was TikTok, maybe at first, all the young moms wanting Fisher Price little people. So my wife was early in that because she was already selling them on whatnot. She has a love for Fisher Price. She always has. So whenever she stumbled upon, and we got a massive collection, it's all over social media. If you want to see her collection, feel free to go to Rocket City Reseller on Facebook, and you can see some of what she's been doing for the past couple days. Thousands and thousands of pieces that she's going to be bringing to
That's
whatnot.
awesome.
So I think for her, she has a passion, and it makes a difference.
It does.
Being 9 to 5 at a regular job, I think for me is kind of what it was, because a little bit backstory. I had to go back to the office. I know, poor me. For first world problems. I've been working remotely for 4 years though, ever since COVID. So I it was a big shift for me. So having to do that and then have to do whatnot after working all day and then spending an hour and a half in traffic every day, it's just like something had to give, right? And I don't want to. I still have people messaging me through whatnot. Hey, when you coming back? We really miss you. Come back, please. We want to, have you
That's awesome.
on our trains and things like that. So I'm always honored by that
Yeah.
community, and they show up for us when we do come on, and
Mhm.
really honored for having that relationship. But right now is not the time. Hopefully, in the near future, I'll come back and do that thing. But my wife is still, and she has all access to all the inventory. So that's what's good about having a partner in this that does full time. So she's still continuing on. So I want to encourage people, Fiona's Finds, on whatnot, to go ahead and all the Rocket City reseller, and I call them Rocketeers. I don't like Chad either. So all those Rocketeers, make sure you go out and check out Fiona's Finds, because it's the same inventory. You get the same great quality, same great price. And
That's awesome.
so I love whatnot for two reasons. One is the community, and two are the friendships, which are
Yeah.
kind of different, right?
Yeah.
Community and the friendships you build along the way are kind of hand in hand, but they're also different.
Mhm.
Ellie, I was able to meet through the Nashville Reseller meetup in person, but I went to one of her shows. I'm like, Tennessee Treasures? Yeah, sure. She's like, Alabama's hat. I'm gonna go in there and say, hey, how you doing, neighbor? What's up? And I told her, I said, hey, are you going to the Nashville Reseller meetup? She was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you should definitely check it out. You don't need to stay at a hotel or anything. You just zip down there, say hi, meet some people.
Now,
and the
Ellie,
rest-
you're in Nashville?
Yep. Murfreesboro. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So having that Tennessee connection, you start building the community. I know Alex is in that area. You're in that
Mhm.
area, East Tennessee. Ellie's in that area. You all know each other now. So
Yeah.
being able to network with like-minded people, I highly encourage people that have never been to a meetup, whether that's the East Tennessee Reseller Meetup, which I had a really great time at. Appreciate you hosting that.
You're welcome. That's awesome.
So I want to encourage people to go ahead and do those types of things, because the connections and that you make along the way are super important for any business, not just reselling. Like you've been into business, your entrepreneurship your whole life,
Yeah.
and you understand the connections and the power that brings. And
That's true.
they're going to remember you, right? And we're like, hey, I know Ben, he's a reseller, and I come across this. I'm not interested in maybe buying this, but I know that Ben loves diecast. He'd be interested. And I can't tell you how many times I've come across deals. Buffalo Picker, and I don't know if you know Tommy, but Tommy sells toys through Amazon and Walmart. And I came across this really great deal through a connection that my wife made when we were at McKay's in Nashville. She was just randomly talking to a stranger, and he's like, I do clear outs for our storage units, and I got all of these toys. So we started having a conversation. Next thing you know, I'm reaching out to Tommy because it's something that I know I can move on eBay and not get it's going to take forever. Whereas Tommy can put it on Amazon, and it turned out to be a really rare doll for him, and he's going to do really well on that deal. And that's how it works. You need to network, talk to people. And I know Tommy through the We Don't Give a Flip podcast that we did. So all this it's just like a big circle. It really is networking with like-minded people. Man, I just can't say enough about that.
Well, I have to harp on my good buddy Alex, the Beard King Picker, for a minute.
He was on the podcast, and we love Alex, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of a kind. Let me tell you, he'll send me pictures when he's outsourcing of Hot Wheels cars. Hey, are these good? And I'll give him the lowdown on it. And I'm thinking, okay, he's going to buy them, and then I'm going to send him some money. He's going to ship them to me. No, he keeps it all. He didn't even talk Hot Wheels before I started getting hot and selling them. Didn't even talk about it. And now he's going out looking for them, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to source some from me because he's the book man. Nope. He's buying them and keeping them. Yeah.
I'm guilty of that too. I learned Hot Wheels from her husband, Val, and I started buying them for him when I saw him out because I know he collects VW. And then I was like, man, I love foreigns. So every time I see a foreign, I'm just like, damn, I'm going to buy that for myself. I got a pretty good foreign collection going on right now. So I mean, it happens. It happens.
2 years ago, all of us from the Locker Room Podcast, we rented an Airbnb during the Highway 127 sale. It runs right through Crossville.
Yeah.
And at that time, they had a reseller event going on at the same time, So we took a week off and we rented that house, and we all stayed together, had a great time. We went out sourcing every day from dawn until dusk. And Alex again was on the hunt for books. And I was looking for hats. Well, after that, he started buying hats, and I'm thinking, dude, give me the box to me. I'll mail you a label.
That doesn't look like a book.
No, he keeps them too. And I'm like, oh, man, I've not had anybody that has sourced from me before. Like you were saying, Bob, hey, I know Ben's loving diecast. He'd love this collection. I need to call him, see if he's interested, and I'll ship it to him. And no, I ain't never had that because all my buddies are all for themselves. That's what.
Damn resellers.
Wrong friend.
Resellers, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I source here as much as I can for Amanda, Fiona's Finds. I find little people as much as I can for her.
Ellie's a true reseller.
You're lucky.
She really is.
You and Alex are lucky to have the bins so close. We don't have a bins where I'm at.
Yeah, they close it down.
The closest one I've got is over the mountain here in Asheville, which is less than an hour away, but I've never been over there.
Rebel and Robert have brought me to Asheville when we went up to the East Tennessee. If you guys aren't tracking the Rebel reseller, make sure you check our channel out. She's all over social media, and she's a plush reseller. That's one of the reasons why we actually sell plush and toys. So
ran into her at a yard sale over this past weekend. Yeah.
Oh, did you? She's fantastic, man. I love her.
Yeah, she's great. They're both great.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's great to have like-minded people. And speaking to Asheville Benz, man, I didn't necessarily think that it was the greatest. I will say they've said so too on their channel, but it kind of depends on what you're after. If you're after clothing, then maybe that might be a lever for you because they do find some clothing there mostly. Yeah,
definitely.
Hard goods though, not particularly good. But you're in a particular area where I think is fascinating, and it's something we stumbled upon when we were in East Tennessee at the meetup, the flea market scene. Can you tell us about the flea market scene? And is it Jonesboro or
Jonesboro Flea Market? Yeah. Jonesboro Flea Market is less than 20 miles away from me up the highway here on the Andrew Johnson Highway. And then if you go west towards Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area there on the interstate, you've got a big, massive flea market right there off the interstate where you exit to go to Pigeon Forge, where Buc-ee's and all that is. And then you're going up into Sevierville, and there's 2 or 3 flea markets up that direction. Then there's the Tri-City Flea Market that's up near Kingsport, Bristol area. It's huge, both inside and outside buildings. It's crazy. So, yeah, there's a lot of flea markets around. I don't make it to them because of my schedule very much, but Goodwill is just 2 miles away from me, and I was there today, actually. Picked about 7 different t-shirts off the rack, and I pulled a lot of money out of our Goodwill store.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I noticed one thing about the flea markets up there. There's a lot of die-cast guys up there. And I was just kind of looking around, and some of those guys are like old timers, like why are you even in my booth? You know what I mean? They're really like, they play it close to the chest up there.
Yeah.
I just was like, I felt super uncomfortable. It's because I'm new to the hobby, right? It's a hobby for me, so I'm not really reselling.
Yeah.
I just was walking in there, and they're just kind of like up and down. I'm not exactly a small human, so I'm 6'5" and 280. So I take up a lot of real estate. They're like, hey, what's this big guy doing in here? And I'm just trying to look for foreign cars. And meanwhile, they got a lot of NASCAR and trucks and all that other stuff, which is probably why, I mean, the area you're in, kind of like
Bristol Raceway is less than an hour away from here. And
yeah, exactly. So they could probably come across that stuff quite a bit. So do you sell a lot of like NASCAR stuff, or did you over the years because of that?
I did a Whatnot show not long ago, and I sold NASCAR die cast. It don't bring good money like it used to back in the days of Earnhardt Sr.
NASCAR. The 90s were probably the golden era for.
Oh yeah. I mean, anything you could get NASCAR back in the 90s was gold. And there's some of this stuff you can't even give it away.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in the service, I was in the Air Force in Charleston, South Carolina, for 6 years in NASCAR in the 90s. Man, it's just, you couldn't go to a barbecue on base without a NASCAR race on the TV in the back. Like people would hang TVs out the back of their their windows.
Oh yeah. At one time it was as hot as college football, around here. Yeah. And of course, where I'm at, it's all Vols,
go Vols.
Go Vols. And so that's another interesting thing. You were talking about going to events and meeting like-minded people. Well, that same thing happens when you get to know your buying audience on Whatnot. I've discovered there's a lot of people that come to my shows that live here in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And they tell me the reason why we came in here is because of your name. We saw the name Rocky Top, and we had to ask you, are you from Rocky Top? There is a Rocky Top, Tennessee, but I'm in the Tri-Cities, Greenville. Same thing, I think. So, but yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And talk about my wife for just a second.
Yeah, because I wanted to bring it up, and I didn't know where to kind of segue. So okay. Yeah, how does she feel about reselling?
Well, she came to the reseller rally back, when we were in the dating phase. She came the whole weekend, and there for a while, especially over the holidays, she just could not understand the concept of it. She'd say, how do you make any money if you're constantly going out and spending money to buy things to resell? I said, honey, when you understand how profit and compounding money works, you buy something for $1, you sell it for 15 or 20, so you're 5 times your money, 10 times your money. You got to do it thinking multiples here. So she never could grasp it. Well, when I started on Whatnot, she helped me with my first show. And then at the end of the night, we looked at the total, and she's like, okay, there's something to that. I'm like, yeah, why do you think I've been doing this for years? I've been trying to explain this to you. You were in a room. She made this statement several months ago. I'm really telling on her here. She made this statement. She goes, I just don't think Whatnot and eBay is a sustainable career or job. I said, really? Well, you were in a room full last September that a lot of them, that's all they do for a living. So
have her watch the Launchpad season 1. We've had some millionaire sellers on there. It's a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is
so
true.
So to circle real quick back to that. So after I got a dozen shows under my belt doing it by myself, because she has to get up at 5:30 every morning because she's a radiologist who does cancer patients every day. She's got to get up early and be at work 6 a.m. So she goes to bed early. So a lot of my Whatnot shows start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. So she's already in bed when I'm starting.
Tuck her in and then run to the Whatnot.
Yeah, that's what I do. And so after a while, spring got here, and between my household and her household, we had a lot of stuff that we didn't need. So we decided, okay, we're going to have a yard sale this summer of crap we don't need. But before we do that, let's go through everything that we can pull together and put on Whatnot. And I want to show you how you can make some money with the clothes you've got in these trash bags down here in the garage. So we pull them all out. We go through. She had tons of Rock Revival jeans. She had Miss Me jeans. So we did a women's clothing show. This was just a few weeks ago where we did Rock Revival. I don't know. She had 15, 20 pairs of them things and all kinds of tops, dresses, and T-shirts and all this stuff. So she said, I ain't going to be on camera. So she would stand off to the side where my phone was on a tripod. And I go, you got to tell me what this stuff is. All these intricate little blouse top. I don't know any of this. So I'm doing this women's show of clothing, right? So she'll say, I'll say, what size is this? And I go, this has got some nice little sleeves that go down to, she goes, that's like cold. Those are cold shoulder tops. I'm like, okay. So people would hear her talking on this. I said, you might as well just do this show yourself because they're hearing everything you're saying. So anyway, we get through her first clothing show. I don't know. It's $200 or $300 or probably more, a little more than that. And she's like, we need to do this again. I'm like, okay. 2 weeks later, we did another women's clothes show and then bankrolled a little money for her there. And she's just like, she likes what I do, but it isn't for her to do it for herself. Because she's got a 22-year career being a radiologist and she makes great money. And she has that mentality of, I'm going to put in 7 more years. I'm going to retire. And she don't have self-employed mentality.
You have to be fearless to be self-employed. You really do. Yeah. It helps anyways.
To put it, on our podcast, me, Archie, and Alex, we get kind of brash in what we say. So to put it in a locker room lingo, you got to have big balls to be a reseller and to really put forth 110% effort, because you may fall flat on your face. There's no guarantee of success with anything that anybody does, Fail
fast, fail forward. That's the key, I think, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, you got to have balls, and especially for these people that are teetering in that transition of quitting their full-time job to go full-time reselling. Let me tell you what, you better have at least 6 months worth of money put back before you even consider doing anything like that, especially with the economy the way it is right now. I mean,
they're wants and needs, right? Right now, people are looking for needs, and it's hard to sell wants. So we all sell wants. It sounds like, Hot Wheels, plush. We're selling emotions mostly. I think people that collect, there's an emotion tied to a lot of what we sell.
Yes.
I've said it a million more times probably in the next coming episodes. But I think if you understand that and where the person's coming from, there's a way forward regardless of the economy.
Yeah. I wouldn't ever tell. And I've had people contact me, what do I need to do to go full time? Well, first of all, don't quit your full-time job cold turkey and go full-time reselling. Don't do that. If anything, if you've got money in the bank, you don't have a lot of debt, you've got plenty of inventory, sales have been moderate to high consistently, your effort has been consistent, trickle down to part-time.
Mm-hmm.
Try that for a while. And then when you can replace that part-time income, do it in stages. Don't just go, I'm quitting my job. These guys are making $100,000 a month. No. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Work your way into it. It takes time, guys. You know that. It takes time to build reputation. It takes time to build connections and friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes time to build your knowledge when you're going out there sourcing. We got people going out here buying all kinds of crap, thinking that they're going to make money, and they're not. You got to know what to look for.
And you have to know your audience. Yeah, especially on Whatnot.
Huh?
You got to know your audience, especially on Whatnot.
The only way to know your audience on Whatnot is to know them. They're not just a buyer. They're a human being, and they've got wants and desires. And your job as a Whatnot host is to figure out what their desires are, and you cater to it. And by doing that, you're going to make some money.
Yeah.
Our top buyer on Whatnot is my wife's now friend.
Really?
So, really quick story. Her name on the app, I won't say what her name is, but her name is Melissa, and we appreciate her so much. And she started buying from us, and we used to do a rewards program. Like you could do one on Whatnot and give away coupons, stuff like that. This young lady became diamond, like within months. Like it's like the top tier, Whatnot. And fast forward over the years, we just got to know her better. Her husband, her son, we've sent them multiple items. Her son loves all things Disney cars, things like that. We've formed a relationship, and my wife was like, it'd just be easier to just give you my phone number. And next thing you know, fast friends. That's just the power of Whatnot. So my wife, Fiona's Finds, is that type of reseller where she's going to have those connections. Everyone she meets is a friend. She's never met a stranger.
Yeah.
Ellie can attest to it. She really is that type of person. Everybody that she meets is her personal friend.
Yeah.
And there's not a bad way to be about that. It's just in her nature to be that way, though.
Yeah.
You can learn to do that, but it's just in her nature. So.
Yeah, it shows though, because she's successful, and it speaks volumes about why. Like, she has that personality, she caters to that, and it works.
Let me address this. I want to address one final thing about Whatnot, if I can.
Yeah, for sure.
For those of you that are looking at the Whatnot platform and thinking about getting started, don't buy into all the stuff that's being said on social media, because I've read so many times in Whatnot groups, well, to get started, you first need to have a massive social media following and all this. You don't. I'm going to tell you my story of that part. I got started, had 0 followers. Okay. And y'all put the numbers, which was it was very gracious and kind of y'all putting my numbers of my channel and all that stuff. So when I started mid-April, I had 0 followers, 0 sales, of course, where now we're June 8th, and I have almost 1,200 followers and over 1,600 items sold. And I started with no followers at all. Now, how did I do that? And I'll tell you what I do, because I've had people message me. How did you do it that fast? Because I've read it where some people, it's taken them a year to get to 1,000 followers.
Right.
Here's what I did. This is what you new folks need to do. I mean, it worked for me. Get into Facebook. Join Facebook groups that deal with the stuff that you want to sell. Okay. With me, I joined all kinds of Hot Wheels groups all over the country. And, they've got local groups, the Tri-Cities Hot Wheels, the Knoxville I joined all of them. Share your show links in all those groups religiously. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once at night, and just stay in a habitual pattern of advertising on your Facebook groups, on your Facebook page, on Instagram. do a quick video on TikTok, wear it out. And that's how I built awareness of me being on Whatnot, is joining all those groups. Recently, I started selling a lot of hats, so I joined hat collector groups. Then I joined some vintage clothes groups. Then I joined some sports memorabilia groups. And anytime I'm doing a show related to those items, I'm zipping them my show links. Hey, come and check, and I have AI make my thumbnails for me. I tell it what to make and boom, 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 makes it. That'll help you tremendous. It did me, and all my buddies were saying, man, how did you build this? I mean, I'm not near being done, but how did you get these numbers so fast? And I said, this is what I done, what I just told you, going on social media and making your presence known of what you've got to offer.
It is true, because I did it with Rocket City Reseller in 8 months, almost a year. I went to 1,000 sales. My wife did it in probably 6 months less than that, because she did it through social media.
Mm-hmm.
So she was able to kind of pull the lever. And also she utilized a lot of like what she knew from helping me with Whatnot to help her lever that. So it's important and we have Facebook group, a personal Facebook group. If you're not part of that, Resellers Refuge. If you'd like to just kind of come in and chat about reselling, want to encourage you to reach out to us on Resellers Refuge and join. We talk about no condemnation. There's no stupid question. We're not going to tell you to Google Lens stuff. We're not that kind of group. We're going to help you. We're going to, put in the work and get that done. That's the point of the group, why we decided to create that group. So that's our personal, and then our Rocket City Reseller, obviously Facebook group. We talk about things that are actionable, what's trending, what's selling,
awesome.
Things like that. So we also do that as well. So that's what people want to know, right? Not what's sold. That's historical, right?
Yep.
What's actually selling now? What's tangible? What puts dollars in your pocket today? And that's why we love doing this podcast, because we talk about all those types of things. And speaking of this podcast, we do a thing here, Ben, where we ask our community, the people that are on the podcast, who they would like to see on Launchpad Reseller Podcast. So now, Ben, Rocky Top Picker, who would you like to see on Launchpad Reseller Podcast?
Drum roll, please.
I'd get Kevin.
Oof.
Kevin.
Commonwealth.
What? Kevin, you've been called out on Launchpad Reseller Podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep on bugging you, Kevin.
He's a busy guy. I totally get it. Why Kevin, and why do you think that he would be able to come on the podcast and speak? I know he's been doing it for years. That's probably the easier. I think I know what your answer might be, but go ahead. Why Kevin?
Why Kevin? Because he's a wealth of knowledge. Really, if you talk to a lot of us old resellers, his was the first channel we ever started watching to get education from.
Mm-hmm.
He takes the business seriously. A lot of resellers resell, but they don't take it serious. He does. And he proves it in his content and his consistency of upload videos, shorts, Trash to Cash podcast. Look, I learned a long time ago, if you want to be successful in something, find somebody that's already a success in doing what you want to do and follow what they did. And Kevin is the one that you need to do that with.
I love that about Kevin. One of the things why I think he's so successful is he was an educator for so many years, right? And he's transitioned to being a reseller for, other reasons that we're not going to go into in the podcast. But I mean, having that education background, it comes across in his content. He's easy to understand. He's very humble guy. We had a chance to meet him in Nashville at the reseller meetup. Super nice guy, really down to earth. All the things that you would not maybe expect at someone that is at his level, right? Because I've met resellers before that, head gets big or whatever, but Kevin's not like that. So we would love to have Kevin on the podcast if he's willing and able to do that. We'd definitely love to have that going on. There's one thing about Ben that we may not know, so I'm gonna drop it right now. He's going live tomorrow, y'all. on the Reseller Locker Room Podcast. You've been doing this thing for a while now. I think you said this is going to be year 3, maybe 2, 3.
Third year.
Third year. You're going live tomorrow, which is something that you guys have not done in a while, I think, right?
Oh, it's been a long time. I mean,
yeah.
Things happened. We've had a change of cast quite a bit over these 3 years because life happens and situations change.
Oh, yeah,
and you can get burnt out doing anything.
For sure. Yeah.
And there for a while we got burnt out of doing a weekly episode, and it's a lot. It's a lot that it takes a lot because,
it does.
Back in the early days of the locker room, man, we were really formal in what the content was that we put forward. We were a very structured show, and a lot of the OCD audience appreciated the structure of the show, because they knew what to expect every episode. And then we got to where we just done them by flying by the seat of our pants, not knowing a clue what the subject is, what we're going to talk about. And then it turned out to be the most natural episodes, smooth flowing conversations, and it was more fun. And since then, I got married, and then Alex had some life events happen, and Archie had some life events happen, and we got away from doing any shows for months. And then we decided to get back on the horse and maybe do one every few weeks, an episode every few weeks. And, with the way my show schedule is, I do 3 Whatnot shows a week.
Yeah,
and
it's busy.
For me to record an episode on our podcast, I have to X off a Tuesday night that I'm normally on Whatnot selling.
Right.
So I try to balance that to where it doesn't interfere with my money making. And so, but yeah, we've had Kevin on the show. You guys can get him here. And he loves to talk about reselling, man. Let me tell you. He's
definitely got his fingers in a lot of things. And I love that about him. He's got a true reseller's heart for sure. And so do you. We want to take a moment to just say thank you so much for doing this. There's a lot of great information in this podcast that's really going to move the needle for someone that's just starting out in reselling, or may be struggling with the whole, Whatnot thing. And you went into really great detail about what that can do for your reselling business. And we want to appreciate you for doing that and taking the time. Ellie, any final words for Ben?
No, I agree. You were dropping wisdom, definitely encouragement, and I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I
for
do
sure.
have one last, burning question. What was exactly? Because we talked about, a year ago you would have turned down Whatnot and talked crap about it. What made you change your mind?
What tipped me from jumping from all eBay to eBay and doing Whatnot basically is when I got married. I wanted to have more time with her versus putting time in front of this computer listing things. I wanted to do something to where I could still make money and still have time to spend with her.
Wow.
And I'm not a Whatnot seller that goes in here and preloads their store before a show and takes all the pictures of every item.
Mm-hmm.
My show is on the fly. I do random pulls. All you do is go in there and set up, your quantities, your weights, and then you just friggin' roll with it, So the turn point for me is coming over here, doing the Whatnot deal. It is getting married and knowing that when you first get married, you have to put a lot of time into the relationship because, you need to build it. Yeah. And that's really the catalyst that caused that to happen. One other quick tip, if you're going to start on Whatnot, don't get discouraged if you do a show and you only have 1 or 2 people come in or you have none. Run through all your items, whether you have 1 person in there or 1,000 people in there. Run through them, be bubbly, be happy, be excited. Doesn't matter. Don't pay attention to how many's in the room, because I want to tell you something. I've made the most money off of Whatnot with having 5 to 6 people in my room that are actual buyers that appreciate who you are as a person and what you're doing, that they will buy from you every time. You can make a ton of money with very few people in the room if you have what they're looking for.
So people that want to see you do this thing live, when is your next show? what day, what time that they can
Okay.
stop in and check
Good
you out?
question. Rocky Top auctions this Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're doing the Hard Rock Cafe Pin Show. And then I have another one next Sunday night, and it's going to be a men's t-shirt show. But if you look up Rocky Top Auction, hit the follow button on Whatnot, you can see my show schedule.
Perfect. That's what we want to leave things. Ben, we appreciate you. Just hang on 1 second. We're going to ask you one more question off camera.
Sure.
We want to just thank everybody for joining us on this episode of Launchpad Reseller Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. And remember one thing, if you can't be good at it. Get you on the next one.
Peace. Thank you all.